Blessings, everyone. This is Keleena. I'm coming back now with another update on the Mexico grid work and how this Mexico grid work is correlating to what's happening in 2022. So what I want to talk about today is another piece of the grid work that was done in mid-October. And this was really, really important as well. We saw this actually happen right away, the results of it, and I do have confirmation from clients and from friends and people all around the world that there's something going on with the masculine, and this all puts things forward in motion for things that have to happen within the masculine who chose to come here as the gender of a man. Okay, this time this does not have to do with energy. This has to do with the gender of being a man, because the men chose to come in and help do the work on the planet as that being, just like the women came to do planet and make, to do work to make changes upon the planet as the divine feminine, as a woman, in the gender. Okay, so we are talking about gender this time. We're not talking about energy. So I would just want to make sure that I have that straight. And I hope that you guys can hear me okay, because we have some loud neighbors today. So let's go ahead. This work was done, and this was shown to me by Venus and Isis, to go into this ruin at this temple, and they're called the twin. They're called the twins. There are two temples next to each other, and they're called the twins. And at that time, we had to have a person representing the masculine gender, and a person, of course, myself. I had to be representing the feminine, or the gender of the woman. And we went. William was escorting. So he went up to one of the temples, and I had to go to the other, and the sisters were at the bottom holding space and doing what they needed to, whatever came to them. There was, and we had one of our sisters that was filming everything as well, or taking photos. And when we got up there, and we were both on our own temple facing each other, they weren't that far away. You can literally run and jump to the other temple, but they were big. So my inner being always takes over. So what happened during this time is I'm a code breaker. I've said this before, code breaker, and I also bring new codes. So I was breaking the codes from the masculine, from the men. It was going through this process where I can literally see in my third eye, because my eyes are closed when I do this stuff, but I can see the codes being surfaced and broken that men are carrying in the genetic coding. They're calling it the genetic codex, the genetic makeup that's in the masculine. This is in the DNA. It's part of the cellular structure that's being transformed. Remember, the cells are constantly regenerating new cells. And if we aren't going through this regeneration, if they aren't going through regeneration, some of the cells can remain dormant and suppressed. So as I was breaking these codes on him and what was being held in the field for the men, I actually, if you you can go back and look into some of the photos that I posted on that day, I became this Mayan priestess. I literally, my face transformed into a Mayan. I looked like this Mayan priestess doing this work, breaking these codes, while William stood there as representing the masculine, the men. And when this was happening, one of the things that I will never forget, because it was the wildest thing I've ever seen, is there was a crown on top of his head. And I had reached, my inner being took over, and I reached for this crown. It was just the knowing that had to be done. I went to take the crown off his head. The crown was like clipped on. So the clips had to be unclipped. And then I remember lifting the crown off his head and taking it and just turning sideways and just going and just dropping it down to Gaia. And when that happened, Gaia opened up and she swallowed that crown, and it just like lit on fire and started melting into the earth. And when that happened, I felt the tension and I felt some anger coming up. And it was such a powerful move to do that, because remember, this work is actually the representation of what was being done to all masculine, to all the men. And this has been part of what's going on with removing that patriarchal control on the planet. So that crown that the men have been wearing, okay, which was holding them into a position of them thinking or feeling somewhere in their subconscious and unconsciously that they're more powerful than women, that they have more control of women, that they're dominating over the women, but also dominating over any other person, has been removed. So the men are being dethroned. Their crowns are being removed. Now, please don't take this the wrong way, because when this crown's being removed, it's the false crown. It's not the real crown. You don't want that. You want that removed. Just like the women had to go through their own stuff of having things removed to come back into their power. Women are still coming back to their power. There's women just still awakening that haven't gone through their process yet. Okay? But when this happened, I can feel this anger within him coming up. And he could deny it if he wishes to, but the others that were there felt it as well. And it was such an important part of that grid work to happen. But we noticed right away, some of the sisters noticed right away with relationships to the masculine in their lives, that my clients and friends are all sending messages almost immediately. What's going on with the men? They're like really angry. There's like rage coming up from them. They're not nice towards me. I mean, some even saying, I don't want to be with him anymore. I'm ready to move out. Okay, this has to happen where the men are being dethroned. And what it is it's being dethroned from the control. It's being dethroned from that program that of demeaning others, especially demeaning the divine feminine. So men, don't get mad at me. I'm only delivering what's happening. That's from the false program that you don't need to be in. That's not part of who you are. That's not yours. It never was. So, but you can say it was yours because you participated in it, and just have that. And I'm saying, everyone, have that, take that responsibility, and then forgive yourself for it. Okay? Because at some point in one life, you lived that way and you played the role and you played that game. So this happened that day. And it was so beautiful after, a couple of days later, when Isis and the goddess Venus were showing me what it was doing. And Yamanya was there, and they were just showing me what this was creating. It was creating a freedom for the men. This was freeing the masculine from this old program that they're carrying. So some of you may have been feeling since October and into November and December, this like anger coming up in you, this in your emotions, rage coming up in your emotions, confusion, feeling of distortion, not knowing who you are anymore. Like something's happening, and what's happening is this had to happen because you're moving more into who you are, and you have to balance the divine feminine part of you with your masculine, with the true masculine that you are. So that here in this year of 22, which is a beautiful year of transformation, of peace and love, and the feminine, and also it's a year of balancing of the masculine and feminine within ourselves. Okay, if you haven't done it yet, you're going to go through that, and I have a whiteboard. I'm going to be going over more of that because there's so many videos that came up from this grid work. But this is the masculine's freedom. This is the men's freedom. And again, yes, this is the gender. And we have an airplane, so 1 second, it's really loud. So I want to say to the men out there, if you have these emotions coming up where you're feeling a little distortion in the head, or you have these not knowing what's going on and you feel angry all of a sudden, or rage, or you're in denial of anything, get yourself out on the earth. Go hiking, okay? Take some time for you, but do it on the earth, because the earth is healing. Mother Gaia is healing. Go hiking. If you love to fish, go fishing. Go, just if you're near a beach, go lay on that beach, go get in that water. Whatever you can do, take some space for yourself and let these emotions come up, and allow yourself to cry, because crying is releasing. So it's really important to let that go as we transition from, the old programs, and those things are dismantled within us. They're dismantling the things, I say this every time, they're dismantling all the things upon the planet that were created in this kind of control sector. So you're going to see this coming up through 2022. At your workspace, in relationships, and you may even see it in the politics. Well, yeah, they're saying yes, the team's saying yes, you're going to see this. And so this is part of that creation where I talked about in the 2022 video, where those that know how to ride the waves, of energy, you'll be okay. But those that don't, that aren't going to want to face this and go through this healing part, you're going to have that echocardiogram. It's going to be like that for you. So there's going to be these times in 2022 we're going up and down, up and down. And that's because those pieces of control within you have got to be released. You have to let go of the control. You have to trust in the process to move back into your heart. Because the heart is where we know everything. The heart is where our truth lies. And this is your feminine. So when you can move out of that constantly always thinking analytical head, and move down, drop into the heart where the feminine is, that's where you feel peace and you feel relief and you feel like you're becoming restored and balanced. Okay, if you stay up here all the time, you're always going to be in that masculine energy. You've got to drop into the heart. And allow yourself to transform. Now, there's going to be times through 2022 where it's going to feel tight, like people are still trying to hold on to things. Remember, what's happening on the earth is because you're part of this process of the dismantling. So if you're still holding on to the old ways of something and you're not letting it go, you're not freeing yourself from that distortion, we're still going to feel like we have these grips. And the more you release and let go and realize that everything has been an illusion, and also that you're creating your own reality, the change will happen, the change will occur. But as everything feels tight and gripped, that's because it's going on with everybody, because of when someone's implementing any kind of fear towards you and you fall into that program of fear, you go into that, I'm going to hide, I'm going to stay in my space, I'm not going to allow anyone in, I'm going to put up the borders, and I'm going to control everything. And that is not what we need to do. What we need to do is come out of hiding. We need to turn ourselves towards our hearts. We need to become our authentic selves. And in our authentic selves is where we're balanced in our masculine and feminine energy. And that's where we're in love. And that's where we're living in love. That is the heart coherence. And this has to happen. 2022 is going to be such a beautiful year for those that know how, as I said in the 2020 video, knows how to ride the waves. The waves of energy, but also utilizing our internal expression through us, and allowing us to bear ourselves as the true conduits that we are, from our hearts, from our inner being, in love. We are one, and nothing can take that away from us, ever. Okay, so that's another part of the grid work I wanted to share with you guys because it's really important. So if you see this and you're in a relationship with someone, give them the men their space. Tell them, go, you know, I'm going to say this right now, some will deny it, and they need their space. So let them take the space. If they won't leave to go out on earth and do something, then you leave and go on earth and do something. If this is happening at work, then do your best to take your space there. See with the eyes of the heart and be in compassion for that person and know what they are actually going through. They're going through their process, okay? There will be women that are very masculine that this may show up for them, but mainly my team is showing me that this is actually happening in men because it's a genetic codex. They keep repeating it's a genetic codex. I don't really know what, I think they're meaning genetic codes, but they're using the word codex. So let this transformation happen. Have compassion for the people that are going through it. Hold space for them, and allow yourself to send the love, the light, and the healing energy if they'll allow it to them. Okay. So this is what we're going to see in 2022. This is just another part of it. So I'm bringing this to you so that you know, okay, don't fall into the trap of this person's evil towards me, this person hates me, this person doesn't get it. So don't judge what they're going through, okay? Hold space for them, be compassionate, be heart-centered. I know that you are love, and they are as well. All right? I love you. I will see you for the next video. More on the grid work. Very important pieces coming in. And don't forget that I'm going to be having that webinar on activating your inner magic. I'll be doing that for you soon. The information will be coming out soon. And for those of you joining my Patreon to do the priestess course this year, it's people are signing up left and right. So thank you so much for that. I love you all. If you wanted to know any more information about me, just click the link down below that takes you to my website and or to my Patreon and Facebook and everything else, okay? Also, I'm having a special on the 1 hour sessions because people are always asking when you're going to have a special. They are on special. They've been on for a while. And it's just my gratitude back to all of you. But please know I am booked very much in advance, and I believe it's being booked in, people are booking in April and May right now, I believe. So if you want to have a session where I'm going to go and I go into your subconscious, I pull up the things that you need to know about yourself so we can pluck those roots to why certain things are happening in your life. And also I bring through light language codes where I break codes, so I crack open your cells and so that you can release any kind of darkness or shadows. And also, I give you new codes for your purification process, your crystalline process of your body, and much more. So there we go. I wish you all a beautiful, blessed week. I'm just going to be like throwing out these videos. Please share them as much as you can. I have been shadow banned for speaking my truth. After I spoke my truth when everything started, because I saw all this coming. Yeah, this has happened. So please, I'm asking you to please like the videos, share them, subscribe, and ring that little bell so that you know they're coming. And leave a comment below, only in positivity and in light. If anything comes up in negative, it will be deleted by my helpers because that is part of the old program. Okay, so stay in your light, positive only. I love you. Nakira Kroshna Shita Marias Naya. Mariana Ur. Blessings. I love you.
Io so tu, farasci